Hey, how's it going? Anyone watching, feel free to like. Hey, look who it is. Was hoping we could talk sometime. Don't mind me not using my camera. I'm just not up to it right now, but maybe later. Uh Later on. Is it pronounced Ciudadano or is it Q? My apologies if I butchered your name just now. Uh It's been a minute since I did any kind of videos on YouTube. Uh, just haven't really been feeling up to it. Mm. So how's it going, everyone? I know there's only one viewer here, but I would love to know that myself. But yeah, I'm unfortunately not the right person to ask that. Uh, my advice, especially since you've got what, maybe 3 subs. My advice would be to talk about what you want to talk about. Um, you know, whatever interests you, just go for it. And the only thing I would say that I was talking to you about Calico Cat. Oh, what about her? Also, hi, Squirtle1234. 16 viewers. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming to the stream. If you wouldn't mind liking the stream, um, really appreciate it. Um, Getting back to your question, though, uh, for growing your YouTube channel, yeah, I would just say do what you want, pretty much. Oh no, yeah, I think I do remember hearing about that. I'm sorry. I can't imagine how rough that must have been. Um, but um, but yeah, pretty much just do whatever you want, really. Consistency is the most important thing, which I have not really been. um, I've gone. How long has it been since I did my last video? 7 days, maybe longer, maybe more. So I mean, I originally started this channel because I wanted to talk about One Piece, but pretty much wasn't getting any views. So I decided if no one's going to be watching this, then what's the point of talking about it? I'm not here to record myself and listen to my own voice. I'm here to get interaction with other people. My favorite animal. Hmm. Uh. Only if you want to. That's ultimately up to you. Favorite animal. That's a tough one. I've got. It's between. It's between. See, the reason why this is so difficult for me to answer is because I really like big cats. You know, like the ones in the jungle. You know, lions, tigers, leopards. Um, I also really like birds. So I like owls. I like hawks, eagles. Those in particular, and then I also really like wolves. Um, but if I could only choose one, uh, hmm. I hesitate to say tiger, but yeah, I guess I would go with tiger. With the tiger. But then I also like dolphins. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're one of my favorites, but I'm one of those people where I like a variety of animals. So I guess evenly you could say that it's almost impossible for me to choose just one. Let me get back to your question here. It's dangerous. I'm going to school to be a social worker. Well, I mean, I don't really know what advice to give you. Um, you know, the reality is things are pretty rough right now. Hopefully, it won't stay this way forever. Um, but bear in mind that at least for the time being, politics are going to impact pretty much every aspect of life, including possible career choices. Even if you aren't talking about politics. Um, oh, very nice. We got up to 4 likes. Thank you so much to everyone who has done so. Again, apologies that I'm not using my camera. I'm just not feeling up to it. Um, maybe later on, because I saw a cat on my apartment stairs. Oh, cool. I'm. Is it a cat from your neighborhood or apartment complex, wherever it is that you live? Do you see this cat often, or is it just one that you saw tonight and haven't seen before? I want to get back to again. Apologies if I'm butchering your name. Ciudadano. I really wanted to have conversations about anime um and One Piece, but again, it just wasn't getting any views, and I felt so. I don't want to say emboldened. I felt as though I needed to speak on some things that were going on. Um, and some of those videos got, I think, like one got over 200 and another got 300. It got 300 or more. And I was debating on whether or not I should try to recreate or discuss those subjects again and again and again just to get views, but unfortunately, I feel like you have to have the right temperament for it, because otherwise it'll just really drain you, mentally, and that's you don't want to be doing that if it's gonna drain you. Um, uh, but I mean, it shouldn't impact that. Wanting to get a job in the government, it shouldn't, but there's just so much uncertainty at the moment. Um, I think that's really what has so many people terrified is the uncertainty. Um, you know, it's like not trying to sit here and act like he was the greatest president ever, but when you look back at Bush, and I don't mean Bush one, I mean Bush two. I don't. I would. With him, it seemed like there was some kind of a line that he wouldn't cross. Um, that he at least stood for the Constitution, at least for the most part. He wasn't there to. I think he truly did believe that what he was doing was for the betterment of the people and for the country. He wasn't there necessarily trying to enrich himself. I mean, he was, but he wasn't just trying to rip everything to shreds and make it all about him necessarily. And despite the war that didn't need to happen, I still felt somewhat safe with him in charge. Um, it didn't seem like he was gonna try to make everybody around him who disagreed with him an enemy. And we're just way too far gone. I mean, I don't want to say too far gone as in that things won't ever go back to a form of normalcy, because they have to you know if we're ever to stand a chance at improving our society and getting back to some uh you know if we're going to function as a country, uh we really do need to not literally but we pretty much need to end the Republican Party. um I personally believe that as things get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, that it will have essentially abolished them. Not as not no literally in the sense that the party no longer exists, but that the damage will have gotten so significant that a vast majority of people will just decide, yeah, we can't ever let you get back in charge again. Because even if the Democrats have messed up and aren't, saints across the board, overall, they do have the people's interests in mind more so than Republicans, especially the current Republicans that are in power. Um, I think it's possible that a group of Republicans may break off from the Republican Party and maybe become independent or become, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely been causing me nothing but constant anxiety and stress, which I haven't been managing well at all. Hey, Gangster Milk. Don't believe I've seen you around here before, so you must be new, but welcome. I appreciate your sub. Please feel free to ask a question. Two, three, everybody watching, please ask me questions. Let's try to make this an engaging stream. I see there's three viewers. So hopefully one of the three people there will ask a question. Yeah. Have you liked the stream? By chance, if you wouldn't mind doing so, would greatly appreciate it. 36. Thank you so much for bringing it up to 5 likes. I don't think I've ever gotten 5 likes this early on in a stream. So that's a great sign. Thank you. Thank you. She's more or less, I guess you could call her the mascot. It probably lagged because so far it's been, little under 20 minutes. I think she's 10. That's an older picture. If she was in the room with me right now, if she was in the room with me right now, I'd turn the camera on and show her. But I think she's in another room sleeping. Oh, that's awesome. Did Did you adopt him? I'm not really in the mood to do so. It would pretty much just be me uh holding my I don't have a setup. I use my phone for everything. Uh uh well, if you want to make anime content, I know you didn't ask me, but if you'd be interested, I would love to collaborate uh with someone on anime. Um yes, Katakuri from One Piece. Um well, that's very nice. Um my cat was adopted. Well, I say adopted, but she was a wild cat, let's say. Um, my stepfather, who's unfortunately no longer with us, but he was working. Kind of glad you're not one of those. What do you mean by pre-recorded clicking live streams? But as far as I'm concerned, I've always believed that live stream is there for interacting with the viewers. Um, you do it for them so they can get to know you, and if there's enough people watching, maybe consider doing a sort of uh, a discussion. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen streams like that before. All the ones I've watched have just been pretty much a question and answer stream. Um, but yeah, go for it. Definitely do anime content if that's what you truly want to do. Um, was your fifth viewer, I think. Huh, cool. Oops. Oops. What? See, I almost considered doing videos on. No, I'm not. I almost considered the reason. Okay, so the real reason why my phone is off is why my camera is off is because my phone is on the well, it's not on the ground. It's laying down, so the screen is pointed up at the ceiling. Um, and since I'm playing a game right now, it wouldn't be possible for me to have the camera on and show myself while also playing the game. So that's why I have it turned off. Oh, sweet. Went to the library. But yeah, I had thought about chatting. I had considered chatting about politics within, uh, certain fictional series. But that's still on the subject of politics, and I'd prefer to stay as far away from that as possible. I had an idea for a stream discussion, where I was going to do a whole stream talking about anime characters, well, fictional characters in general, that might make for a decent president, and then explain you know, why why they might fit the job, why they might work, and and what they bring to the table. Um, and then I would have done a follow up stream going down a list of characters, who could fit in as the members of a president's cabinet. I've never seen Gumball before. Well, I might have seen part of an episode, but I didn't stick with it. So, um, my real name, a nickname. Uh, I never really had nicknames that weren't pretty much revolving around my real name. What do you mean a nickname for your nickname? Nicknameception. How come your nickname is Alex? I've known wait, have I known? Like I know a nickname for Rich, for example, can be Dick. Um Oh, okay. So your middle name is your nickname. I know some people actually. Actually, no. That's not the first time I've heard about that. I know there's other people who've gone by their their middle name as a nickname instead of their first, or even a even a what's the word for it? Even like a altered version of their last name. So for example, let's say that your last name was, I don't know, um, Okay, this is gonna sound stupid, but let's say that your last name was Douglas, and for whatever reason, somebody decided to give you the nickname Glass. Um, oh, okay. I see. I see. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Um, so when I remember one time when I was really young, back in school, one of my classmates asked me if he could call me lasagna. Um, because my real name is Lonnie. I don't know how you get lasagna from that, but yeah, that's what he decided to call me. I remember being very irritated by it, but I don't have either of those games. Sorry. Um, just not really interested. Although there is a free-to-play game that um is either coming out or is in its what do they call that alpha state in its what do they call that when a game is technically out but it's is it called pre-alpha? Yeah, there's a free to play game out that I just found out about, which I'm kind of interested in. It's a Game of Thrones game. Um, it's open world action RPG, um, and I'm interested in trying it out. I don't usually care for free to play games because you know a lot of the progression is backed up is behind some kind of a paywall. There's usually limits put in place because of that fact, and that's why I mostly turn my nose up at free to plays. But yeah, it's an open world action RPG. It looks really good. Um, I would love to if people would be interested, and if I could remember how to get back into my old Twitch channel. But I would love to um, see if I could get a number of people from this channel to watch me do streams of games on Twitch and see uh, how much I get in views. On YouTube it is, yeah. Apologies for the yawning. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not particularly tired. Last I checked, it was 77. If I can figure out how to link that Twitch in on my profile here, I'll do so, and then people would be able to find me. If they wanted to, they could come join whenever I stream. Yep, definitely. What do you mean by make it lag? Intentionally, or do you mean that it's lagging because of you? Because if it's lagging because of you, I don't I don't I don't blame that on you whatsoever. Um, Lag is just something that happens. 10 per day? Who told you that? I don't think you need to post 10 per day. I would say I mean if you want to post 10 per day, uh go for it, but I don't think that's necessary. Um do you care if I make this lag a little bit so I cannot I'm not sure what you mean by that. What do you mean? What are you doing to not make it lag? Are you worried that the lag was because of you? Because I'm pretty sure it's not you. It was probably something I did on my end. Oh, what's not a good idea? I feel like if you did 10 videos a day, you would burn yourself out really quick. But, you know, not trying to force this. I feel like I'm being annoying when I ask this, but the offer to collab with me is still on the table. Um, I'm not sure what you mean by that, gangster. It's possible that I'm missing something obvious in your comment. Oh, okay. Did what though? What do you mean? If you did what? I what did I don't know. I'm surprised there isn't a limit on how many videos a person can post per day. I know I've watched one channel where he would upload I think like 6 videos a day, but most of his videos were responses to things he saw on TikTok or uh, comments that he saw in his comments. He would respond to those comments. 100,000 views. That's incredible. I personally never used TikTok. Just never got into it. And I'm definitely not going to start now because isn't it supposed to get banned or isn't it expected to get banned at some point? Because clearly there's nothing more important than banning TikTok, right? Yeah, TikTok is obviously at the top of our priorities list of things to get done. So much stupidity. It's not. It would be funny if this wasn't real life, but such an embarrassment. Oh, you mean this live stream? Okay. I'm not sure how that happened. Um, so like I said, I don't play Roblox or Fortnite, but I may be interested in playing something else depending on what it is. Uh, Also depending on what you play on. If you're on computer, then then I don't know. The only things I have are a PS5 and a Steam Deck. Um, oh, you play on your phone? Okay. Well, I mean that would still be doable depending on the game. Once again, I do apologize for the yawns. I don't know where it's coming from. Exactly right to what? Um, oh, to the 10 videos a day. Yeah, that just sounds insane. Huh? Hey, some people are more comfortable with playing that way. More power to them. If that's the case. But call me old fashioned, but I need to have a controller in my hands. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. And unfortunately, they're really expensive nowadays. Soon, it's gonna be even harder to get your hands um on one because you know all these people expected to lose their jobs as a result of the nonsense that's occurring. I hate to be mean, but to certain voters, this is on you. If you voted for these idiots, expecting them to help you out to improve your life, well then you're an absolute moron. Um, an example of the greatest example of human stupidity, um, which I guess really doesn't make any sense because I wouldn't say that it's even possible for an animal to be dumb. They're just they're animals and they're not as evolved as we are. But yeah, congratulations to all the dunces. You played yourselves. And it will never make any sense to me as to why people that rely on benefits vote for the people that are anti benefits and anti helping people out. Uh, what do you mean listen to? The only thing I can remember that's associated with Triple X is the Vin Diesel movie. I've never heard of Triple X. Sorry. We deserve this. I wouldn't go so far as to say that we deserve this. Um, I mean, I don't think that I deserve this. I don't think that you deserve this. I don't think that all those innocent people who are being kidnapped deserve this. Um, you know, anybody who voted for this deserves it. But, you know, unfortunately, we don't live in a world where where people only get what they vote for. If it could work out that way, it'd be amazing. Because then we would only be getting all the good policies and none of the bad. It kind of makes me wonder if a system where there's two presidents, one from one party and one from another, and they split the country down the middle, if that would actually, you know, be for the betterment of the country. But obviously, you know, for many reasons, even if that was in practice workable, it'll never happen. Well, you know, um, all I would say is pretty much just I hesitate to say anything because it's going to sound like I'm trying to push somebody in a certain direction. You know, even though I know for a fact that voting. I mean, yeah. Obviously, it's not as simple as you got to vote with the one party who's gonna be, you know. I'm not gonna try and be that kind of person who says, "Oh, vote Democrat because Republicans are far worse." And I'll be honest, I don't even necessarily believe that both parties are bad. I just think there are members of. I think that's kind of oversimplifying things a bit. I think there are definitely people in the Democrat Party who are anti-establishment. Um, they're not siding with the big corporations. And those are the Democrats that you want to see. Those are the ones that you want to see in every position. Um, you know, like I believe that Crockett, I believe that AOC, I believe those two in particular are, anti big corporations and pro uh, pro financial freedom and pro shall we say um, making the economy fair for all. Um, I truly do believe those two in particular are that way. And, if the entire party was that way, we'd be in we'd pretty much be in perfect shape. Um, so yeah, I kind of get agitated when people just want to blame the one party. It's like it's not that simple. It's not about the party. It's about the people that are running the parties, right? Like at one point in time, there were Republicans who were serving the people. They were actually doing their jobs, which is to be a servant to the people, to better their lives. That's literally the point of a politician is to better everyone's life. Um, I mean, I don't want to, but there's a lot on my mind, and this is kind of my soapbox, I guess. This is kind of my platform um, to get it all out there, um, and to also encourage people to get involved in the conversation. Um, you know, spread the word, get people really fired up, so that if they are, they can get other people fired up, and the more people that are fired up, the closer we'll get to making positive changes. But anyway, for me, I'm now of the belief that it's not about party; it's about the people in the party. Think of it kind of like sports, where even in the best team, you might have some pretty terrible players. Um, I mean, it's not the best analogy because you know sports teams are not ruining the country, but I like that. The roast is you're like a bean can at the black market. Never, no one ever wants to, and no one ever picks you. Love that. That actually sounds like it could be a great quote, not just a roast. Basically, and that therein lies the problem, right? You know, it's I feel like a lot of people only see that aspect of it. They only see it as, oh, well, they're just arguing. They're not doing anything to, fix things. They're not doing anything to bring progress. And when they see that they're always fighting, they assume, oh, so then I guess we have to vote for only one party pretty much across the board to make any change happen so that there's little opposition. The problem is, though, when you don't know who the people in charge are, is when you have what we've got now, which is a bunch of people just voting based on party and not even. I don't know. It's hard for me to use any kind of rationale when talking about that because there is no rationale. They voted for someone who literally has 100 has zero reason to have. I don't think you can super chat yet. I think I need to be at a certain number of subs for that to happen, but I'm very, very, very thankful that not thankful, very I really do appreciate the attempt. That's amazing. Uh, who knows? Maybe one day I'll have enough subs so that becomes a possibility. But um, you know, I, I could never accept something unless the person could afford it. I just couldn't in good conscience do that. Um, if it's someone who's very well off and they can do that and they choose to, well, hey, knock feel free to do so. But it will never be expected. It shouldn't be expected. I don't care who you are. If you're one of those big YouTubers, you should not be expecting people to donate to you. Um, you know, I'll get frustrated with a lot of these big YouTubers who have 100K and more, and I'll think to myself, look, if you aren't making enough money through ad revenue, why aren't you setting up a Patreon and saying, setting it as low as $1? I guarantee a lot of people would be willing to donate $1 a month to somebody who has 100,000 plus subs. Um, uh, I'll have to look. I'll have to look this artist up. Um, and give them a listen. Um, but yeah, sorry for that little rant on Patreon. I just don't understand why there are big name YouTubers out there that won't just set one up. I mean, you know, because when you set up a Patreon, I don't think you operate under the assumption that that people are gonna feel required to uh, you know to make a pledge to you. I think you just leave it there as an option. Um, and I mean, even in really difficult financial times, I still think there would be plenty of people who'd be willing to donate $1 who could still afford $1. If it's, I don't know what the lowest amount is that you can pledge on Patreon. um, but yeah, I'll look this person up. Um, for some reason, when I was reading the name, I was thinking of Tenacious D. um, but yeah, that's how I feel about that whole thing. Also, if a person really wants to donate, they won't need to be asked. They'll do it of their own accord. They shouldn't be expected to or told to. Um, well, I originally made this channel just so that I could, watch videos on YouTube, but I had kind of been interested in making it into something that I mean I'm not going to sit here and say I expected to make a career out of this because that's kind of insane. um, but um, I I had unique views on things that I don't believe anybody else has. And so that's why I figured that's why I thought to myself, I have something that I can offer people, something that they may not get anywhere else. Um, and that was what I was gonna do with well, at the time, what was supposed to primarily be a One Piece focused channel, but once again, I did that. I lost interest. And then the whole thing with politics happened, and I saw these people with no political backgrounds doing videos on YouTube and having thousands upon thousands of subs, and it was like, okay, well, I'm not expecting to reach 1,000 subs through talking about politics, which I have very little knowledge of, but why don't I try it and see what happens? And also, I felt like it was a good place where people could hear me, talk about the things that talk about how I feel about things. Maybe even give a different perspective on things. Um, but talking about politics is really not good for my is really not good for me mentally. Um, it just isn't. Like I said, you have to have the right temperament for it. It astounds me how I don't I'm just gonna bring this up because it's relevant to what I had been saying. I'll watch this one guy, uh, and you know he he claims to not be he claims to not have a channel about politics. Oh, well, thank you very much. You know, if I could get a decent amount of viewers for those videos, I would definitely go back to it. But at the same time, I don't know. I've kind of lost a lot of love for One Piece. Um, it really went downhill for me, which is which is ironic because I was one of the, I don't want to say few, but out of the people that I spoke with about One Piece, I was very much in the minority of those who defended the post time skip part of One Piece, even going so far as to say that I preferred it to part one. But that pretty much went out the window. Uh, Kind of during and definitely after Wano ended. Um, and ever since, my interest I've pretty much been losing interest more and more as the series has gone on from there. I did not like Egghead at all. I don't actually know how to change the background. Sorry. And Elbaf was just kind of there for me. I just don't find any of the places that they're going to interesting. Um, Everybody was super excited about Elbaf, and I just kind of felt like, what's the point? Big Mom's been defeated. Elbaf would have been the perfect opportunity for her character to come into the story and be the villain that they defeat. But then we had to have Loki, and then we had to have these holy knights. It's just like, why should I care about the holy knights? Why should I care about Loki? You spent years hyping up and building up the Yonko, and you defeat two of them in a single arc. Like, what the heck? It feels like all that buildup was for nothing. Um, and I'm sorry, but I wanted a story about pirates. I didn't want a story about the world government's forces, becoming the new big bads. And as for Gear 5, yeah, I initially liked it, but now it's worn out its welcome for me. Um, I'm kind of tired of it. I feel like it's hurt his character. I feel like it's detracted from a lot of the things that I liked about him. Um, and now his fighting style is literally just be a Looney Tune. Um, and it really bums me out. Because prior to that, I loved every single moment, every single minute of his fight with Kaido. Before that, I thought it was excellent. And Gear 5 comes along, and it just takes out pretty much all of the tension, and his fighting style is be goofy. Um, there were still some awesome moments, like him grabbing that bolt of lightning and throwing throwing the lightning at Kaido. Do I play Boruto? No. I have not played an anime. Well, the last anime related game I played is actually the new Bleach game, Rebirth of Souls. But as for Boruto, I never bothered with I never bothered with Boruto because I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't see a point to Boruto. I I'm speaking for myself here, but I did not want Boruto. I always said that if there was going to be a sequel to Naruto, that it should just be Naruto as the Hokage, as a man. Um, Unfortunately, he still has the same voice that he's always had, even though he's what, like a 30-year-old man now. Um, doesn't sound like an adult. Um, he also has the Eminem haircut for whatever reason, and he lost an arm only to get it replaced with a bandaged one. Um, and then becomes a deadbeat dad like his own father. Well, no, I'm sorry, not like his own father. What am I saying? His father wasn't around because his father died. But yeah, you'd think that Naruto, having not had a father of his own, would become the father that he always wished he would have had. But nope, becomes a deadbeat father. He's pretty much just a clone of Goku at this point. I mean, hey, at least with Goku, it kind of made sense because his whole deal was fighting, and he really didn't know any better. He was very childlike in a lot of ways. But with Naruto, I wanted to see some maturity. um I wanted to see him become more mature, not necessarily in more intelligent, but more responsible, that sort of thing. But apparently not. He's so, yeah. Who knows? Maybe it's also because of the fact that Naruto was never a favorite of mine. I read and watched, every series in the big three. And my favorite was, well, I don't know if it was always One Piece that was my favorite, but uh, no, no, no. I'm pretty sure it was always my favorite of the big three. But I really liked Bleach, even though I am not a fan of Ichigo or any members of the main cast. Um, Believe it or not, Sasuke was my favorite character for a while. Until the fight with Itachi, and then I felt as though his character really went off a cliff. I really found him intriguing before that because he had this whole code where his only target was Itachi, and the only one he was going to kill was Itachi. Anybody else, he was more or less gonna not bother with. And I thought that gave him like a sort of like sense of honor. Um, it also created this. It also gave the impression that maybe he wasn't too far gone. Maybe the original Sasuke was still there, and once he killed Itachi, he was gonna go back to the village. You know. Um, but yeah, Sasuke was my favorite. Well, actually, no, I tell a lie. Um, I think I would actually I would act. Oh, well, you know what? I'll say that pre the fight with Itachi, Sasuke, and Gara are tied for number one. Uh, as far as my favorites go. What anime would I recommend? I'll be honest. Well, it's not really like One Piece, but I'm a huge fan of Yu Yu Hakusho, and I also really like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. As for Kakashi, well, I'm not sure if I should give my opinion on Kakashi because it might make me sound like a hater, and I don't want to insult people's favorite characters. That doesn't mean that I think he's a bad character. It's just I never understood why so many people loved Kakashi. I'm gonna be honest. He was just kind of the cool guy. He was like, the look how cool he is, but there wasn't really anything to his character beyond that. Yeah, exactly. And look, sometimes I really like characters like that, but for whatever reason, I just didn't care for Kakashi. And no, please, what? Okay. Well, first of all, uh, the man is supposed to be one of the strongest ninja in the village, and he doesn't win a single fight on his own. In fact, in the first arc, he needs three genin to break him out of a water prison that he himself, for whatever reason, couldn't see coming. And he's copied 1,000 jutsu or more. And how many of those jutsu that he's copied have do we ever see? You, you made you decided to give him the copy ninja as a moniker, but you weren't gonna show those 1,000 jutsu over the course of the entire series. Then what was the point of calling him the copy ninja? What was the point of saying he copied 1,000 jutsu if you weren't going to show them? And what was the point of why is that such a big deal if he's not, I don't know, necessarily going to take the jutsu he has copied and combine them? That seemed like something that Kishimoto was going to at least do with Hiruzen, right? Wasn't that the reason for him being called the professor? Because he could combine ninjutsu to create new ones? Um, and that was really disappointing to me because I would have loved to have seen a character just, take all these jutsu and use their imagination or use their creativity and combine them into new techniques during a fight. Um, Also, I'm sorry to say this, but Kakashi should have died in the final arc. Kishimoto should have had Obito kill him. Like that kind of ruins Obito as a villain. I never liked Obito to begin with, but not having him kill Kakashi when he had him right where he wanted him was just so stupid to me. It's like this is a war. This is supposed to be the fourth Great Ninja War, and it's basically just no names that get killed, or characters that nobody really cares about that get killed, and with the exception of Neji and Shikamaru's father, and that's it. Like, if you really want the tension to be there, you should have did something as crazy as have Kakashi get killed. That would really have cemented Obito in as a villain. Him killing Kakashi. Him just being like, you know what? I'm tired of you. I'm taking my eye back. And if I have to kill you to get it back, well, that's what I'm going to do. It would have pretty much made up for all the problems I have with. It would have pretty much made up for all the problems I have with Obito as a character. Um, which is a lot. Because let's be honest, he's pretty much just a fanboy. Well, no, he's not a fanboy. All he is just the follower of a cult leader. He was never the leader of his own gang. I mean, he's a good teacher. It's just all this making him out to be a legendary individual and being so incredibly powerful. It's like, but we don't really get to see that that legend. If he's so great, why are we not seeing that greatness? At least with the Sanin, you kind of get that. Maybe not so much with Tsunade, but with Orochimaru and Jiraiya, yeah. I mean, me just pretty much ripping Kakashi to shreds. Um, heck, Sasuke could have killed Kakashi. And I'm not saying this because I dislike Kakashi. I just feel like Kishimoto having the guts to kill off Kakashi would have been amazing. It's like you had the guts to kill off a fan favorite and to really hit home the fact that in this war anybody's life is is potentially put in jeopardy and no one is off limits. But no, you just kill Neji and Shikamaru. And don't get me wrong, I was angry about the fact that Neji got killed because Neji was one of my favorites. And I hated the idea of a member of the new generation being killed off. Should have honestly just killed Kakashi. And don't get me started on the way that Guy's sacrifice was handled. What a kick between the legs. He was perfectly willing to sacrifice himself to try and take out Madara. And what does Naruto do? He comes over with his healing hand and brings him back to life. Like, really? You ruined a great character moment by doing that. Like, what was the point of saying that eight gates, you know, takes the person's life when they've used it, if the one person who's going to use it doesn't die? And he gets brought back for what reason? It's not to use it again. Maybe if you know, maybe if Naruto used the Nine Tails chakra to protect Guy's body while using eight gates, so that so that he could last longer and it wouldn't kill him. Okay, that would have made sense if he did it before he actually initiated it, but he didn't. I mean, the Nine Tails chakra could have, you know, been more or less preventing serious damage occurring to Guy's body, and the boost in chakra would have maybe even made it more powerful. Um, but it's also true that I'm incredibly biased when it comes to to Naruto because I never liked Naruto ever. I mean, he had his moments, but as a character, I just found him annoying. Also, when you think about it, what was the point of saying that he's all about hard work when he's got a seemingly infinite source of chakra within him that can bestow upon him incredible power if he ever learns how to tap into it? It kind of kills the whole underdog thing. If anyone's an underdog, it's Rock Lee. It's definitely not Naruto. And even before the whole thing with his mother and the Uzumaki clan, he's the son of Minato. Minato was obviously not an underdog. That man was a genius. And it was clear to me that Minato being Naruto's father was always the plan. I'm not trying to brag here, but I knew that Naruto was the fourth Hokage's son from the very first episode. I was like, it's obvious. There is absolutely no believable way that a person can say that Naruto being the son of Minato was in any way surprising. All that being said, I did really enjoy the Naruto versus Pain fight. For the most part. Not all of it, but most of it. I didn't care for the fact that he couldn't beat Pain on his own. Despite the fact that Pain pretty much said that if Jiraiya had discovered their secret, he would have won. And then later on, you fight somebody who has an even stronger version of Sage Mode, which is the perfect version of Sage Mode, and he can't beat you? Even having the knowledge that Jiraiya lacked? Yeah, that's pretty lame. Also, not that anybody but my favorite fight in the series is Hiruzen versus Orochimaru. That is my favorite fight in the entire series. Hiruzen versus Orochimaru. Gara versus Deidara is up there too. Yeah, that's something that's always bugged me too. Actually, no. You know what's really bugs me about that? The fact that nobody in the village knew it. Wouldn't it have made a lot more sense for them to be so hateful towards Naruto because of his father? Saying like maybe cursing the name of the fourth Hokage because he chose to seal the Nine Tails within a kid, who also happens to be his own son, and I don't know, maybe being angry about the fact that, uh, you know, like if this had been planned from the very beginning, maybe even saying things like, you know, it's all the fourth Hokage's fault that this happened, and if he had maybe handled taught his student better, maybe he wouldn't have turned on the village or something. Um, or maybe even say something like um, I had a thought and I lost it, unfortunately. But oh, let me see. What was I saying? Oh, I was talking about how I liked most of the Naruto versus Pain fight, but I hated the fact that Naruto couldn't beat Pain on his own, which makes no sense to me because again, Naruto had the superior version of Sage Mode, and he was also armed with the knowledge that Jiraiya lacked, which Pain himself said Jiraiya would have been able to win had he possessed that knowledge. So you're telling me that a Naruto armed with the knowledge of Pain's weaknesses, with a superior version of Sage Mode to Jiraiya's, couldn't kill Pain on his own when he also had the two Toad Sages, I think Gamabunta, and also pretty much the entire village there? Doesn't make any sense. Um, Let me see. I could talk about some of my other fights. I really like um, Sakura and Shio versus Sasori. Um, I really like Sasuke versus Deidara. Um, I really like Asuma, Shikamaru, and the other two versus Hidan and Kakazu. Um, I didn't really care that much for Sasuke versus Itachi. Um, just didn't. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things where a fight has been hyped up for such a long time that when it finally gets there, it's either going to meet expectations, exceed expectations, or not meet expectations. Because it kind of it puts it in your head that this is going to be the best fight in the series, and then if it doesn't seem like it's the best fight in the series, then it's kind of like Zoro versus Mihawk. Everybody is just going crazy for that fight, but at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if it never happens. I'm gonna be honest with you. Would not be surprised if Zoro never fights Mihawk. And I know that will anger a lot of people, but I mean, it's like when would it make the most sense for him to actually fight Mihawk? I mean, why? What reason do the Straw Hats have to go up against Cross Guild? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Shiryu actually did kill Mihawk. I'm not saying I want that, but I would not be surprised if that was the route that Oda took, is that he has Mihawk get killed by Shiryu of the Rain. and, and he becomes the world's greatest swordsman, and then Zoro has to get the title by fighting and beating Shiryu. which would be pretty awful because there's nothing impressive about Shiryu at all, besides the whole "oh I can turn invisible" thing. Like he is not a strong character, not from what I've seen. Um, yeah, I might have said that Gar is my favorite character from Naruto. I would even argue that he's the best written character in the series. Which probably sounds insane, but that's how I feel. Um, yeah, I just I'm sure there's an argument that can be made for other characters, but for me, Gar is pretty much flawless. I mean, there's really nothing that happens to his character and nothing that he does which you know, which contradicts him. I would like to see a Naruto if powerful not used correct. Yeah, I agree. Well, I always knew that he was going to learn to tap into that power, but making it where he taps into that powerful power differently than the others, and he has to get this super fancy chakra cloak that makes him all golden, and then later on he has to get a stupid cape, and he can't transform into the nine-tailed fox. He has to surround his body in an aura that's shaped like the nine-tailed fox. It's like, no, come on, just keep it simple and just have him do the same thing that Killer Bee does. He doesn't need that fancy schmancy nonsense just because he's the main character. Like, come on. And if you want to go that route, give a reason for it. Don't go the whole, oh, well, he can't transform properly because poor chakra control. Like, really? Poor chakra control? In a series where good chakra control is literally needed for every single thing you do in a fight? I mean, you could have just had the Nine Tails say, "Oh, you're struggling with your chakra control. Uh, let me help you to control it so that you can transform into me," or whatever they called that mode. Heck, this might sound crazy, but I even had this idea once where maybe Naruto could have transformed into like a hybrid, where it kind of, if you've ever seen Teen Titans and remember the episode where Beast Boy kind of turns into like a werewolf. Imagine a form like that for Naruto, where he turns into a humanoid fox that has the nine tails, like fur covering his body, and he has nine tails and like long hair. That's what I would have done for his Jinchuriki transformation. Never seen Teen Titans Go. Oh, was anyone else here bothered by the fact that only one of the Sanin was a sage. Only Jiraiya. Not Orochimaru, not Tsunade, just Jiraiya. Orochimaru, who's a genius and, a master of snake summoning and has all these different techniques related to snakes. But because of reasons, he doesn't become a sage. And Tsunade doesn't either. I wanted there to be more sage modes. I wanted the third Hokage to have a sage mode. I wanted, um, heck, I would have even liked to have seen Kakashi have a sage mode. Another thing that I would have liked to have seen is instead of Naruto taking all of the tailed beast's power, you could have just found a reason for Gaara to have to take the one tails back, take the Shukaku back, like and then say that because of things being different now, the Shukaku is no longer going to be like a force of negativity and hate and destruction. Um, you could say that they become bonded to each other again, and now the Shukaku, is pretty much in harmony with Gaara. Yeah, it would have been awesome. I mean, it would have cemented in this idea that Naruto is supposed to be the underdog and hardworking, and so for him to say, "I'm not going to accept that power. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to find a way to make this work without it." Or another way you could have gone about it is what if he just decided, you know what, I'm not going to give you my power until you prove yourself. And so Naruto has to work, his butt off just to prove that he's worthy of it. Maybe say, that's the reason why I wasn't going to give you access to my power before, is because you didn't work for it. You didn't prove to me that you were worthy of it. And then maybe say, like, he can only use the power when absolutely necessary. Like, he won't be given access to the power unless it's as a last resort. Yeah, but I'm not bothered by it because, you know, it's an interesting conversation. At least I think. And I can keep going if people want. I feel like all I've been doing is ranting and not, saying enough positive things. Um, Also, something else I want to say. To me, Orochimaru is the best villain. I'd go so far as to say that instead of doing the whole Obito and Madara thing, just have Orochimaru succeed in taking Sasuke's body. Like, I don't know, change it to where he maybe doesn't get sealed by Itachi, and or he manages to get out of the seal, and he attacks Sasuke somehow and actually succeeds in taking him as a vessel. And then he decides that, okay, I've got the body of an Uchiha now. I'm going to become the Ten Tails. Because I've discovered that learning every single jutsu is not enough. Or heck, maybe instead of sure. What you have in mind? What about gravity? I, I I honestly don't remember. I think it has to do with magnetic pull. I think it's essentially a magnetic field of some kind, but I could be wrong. Funny thing is, I actually know somebody who could easily answer that question. But yeah, we don't. The only reason I was talking about that is because it was, it seemed to be an engaging subject. Pretty much any subject uh, can be discussed as long as I know something about it. Is that what gravity is? Okay, kind of had a feeling, but cool. I don't watch it. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, that's a series that I saw an episode of, which because it just so happened to be on TV, and I decided, yeah, I don't like this. I don't know anything about his music, so. Ooh. I cannot because of copyright. Yeah, if I played music and it was picked up, this live stream would get flagged. I'd rather not take the chance personally. Also, I don't know where I would even play the music. I mean, I'm streaming from a phone, and I don't have Spotify on anything else. And even though nobody brought it up, I've started thinking about Kingdom Hearts. Yep, Kingdom Hearts. I wonder if that's gonna come out anytime soon. My guess is probably not for another 2 years, if not three. Who knows? if it doesn't come out anytime soon, it's definitely not going to be on the PlayStation 5. It's going to be on the 6. Jeez. Wondering if it might be a good idea to end this sometime soon, because things seem to be slowing down and it's getting later. I mean, I can keep going if you want, but I don't know. I'll go for at least maybe another 10 minutes. And if things don't, if things stay the same, then I'll consider ending it. Wow, there goes another yawn. Hey, kitty cat. You finally graced us with your presence. Alright. Hey, kitty cat. the matter? Were you lonely? Were you by yourself? Huh? Were you by yourself? Oh, yes, I know. Alright, babes. Okay. I know that what I know. My little baby. My little baby. My little baby. My little kitty cat. Alright, okay. Okay. You just want to sit in front of me? Come on, girl. Lay down. Lay down. Good. There you go. There you go. Yes, as you may have heard, my cat has arrived. Anyway, it doesn't look like there's any more conversations in the chat. So I think I'm going to end this stream now. Thank you to everyone who showed up, everyone who liked, anybody who subscribed, to anyone who hasn't, who would still like to, please feel free to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.